Hey guys, welcome back to the second channel. We have got a really fun video today and it's been much requested. We are going to be giving you guys updates on a whole bunch of dogs that obviously we've rescued in the past, and we're going to show you where they are today. Now this is going to be really fun because we've got puppies in here, we've got DNA tests, we've got dogs that ended up getting rehomed and moved, so there's going to be just like a massive update. I didn't manage to include every single dog because well, there was just too many. I think we've rescued like over 40 dogs, but I have gotten a lot of dogs. It took so much more time than I thought to get everything like together. We've got like messages from owners, obviously photos and videos of all the dogs. So I'm gonna start off with Rusa. Now I'm gonna try and generally go in the order that we rescued the dogs from. So Rusa was actually our very first dog that we ever rescued. So if you guys know, we rescued her, I think it was the summer of 2024. And this is literally the first dog we ever rescued. We didn't have a clue what we were doing. We still kind of don't really now. But here is an update on Rusa. So she is getting on amazing at her new home. She actually got rehomed with another dog, and she is also being renamed to Rita. I'm going to show you videos on screen now of her like playing at the beach. There's lots of photos with her. There's even a photo with some French bulldogs, which I think the adopter said was her son's dogs. We also had a message from them. They said, we had her spayed in January. She had a season end of September. She still chases birds and rabbits, runs really fast, and sometimes goes to park run with her husband. She's been a great addition to our family. And amazingly, they did a DNA test on Rusa as well. And so obviously, you know, we thought she'd have like Corgi or Jack Russell in her, but I couldn't believe her DNA results. It turns out she is 19% Pekingese, 4% Shih Tzu. She's got some Pomeranian dog in her. She's a mix of 18 breeds and it included 2% wolf. She also had 11% big mountain dog in her as well. Her owner said she's a bit of a hunter, caught a rabbit and a squirrel. And yeah, she's getting on just like really amazingly. We're really glad to see that. Rusa, now Rita, has gone on to live an amazing life. I think they travel quite a lot, which is why she's in like the caravan and things like that. And yeah, it's really nice to see nearly 2 years on now how well our first rescue dog is getting on. So next we have got a dog called Sandy. Now when we first got Sandy, she was a puppy. She was quite stocky. We had no idea what breed she was, but a DNA test did get done, so I'm going to show you that in a little bit. You will not believe what she looks like now, because how she looks now is just nothing to how she looked like when she was a puppy. So this is Sandy now. She looks like a completely different dog. Her name is still Sandy. She's absolutely adorable. You can see her sort of like slowly growing, slowly getting bigger. And then they sent us this picture where Sandy turned 2 years old. She's got a nice little steak with her, and she just looks like a completely different dog. When they sent the photos, I was like, is that the same dog? I said to Ella, because she just looks completely different. She's absolutely adorable, and she's grown up to be such a beautiful dog. She still looks so playful, but I just couldn't believe it. So the owners have said she's doing great, thanks, absolutely thriving. We had her spayed in November and that all went fine and she recovered quick, which was good. She absolutely loves going out on walks, and where she can find water, she'll go in face first. She's always off the lead and loves a good playtime. Her favourite is tug of war and catching balls. So she's getting on amazingly. Her owners are amazing. They were a couple. I remember meeting them when they came to the house. They were just perfect for Sandy. And this is going to be really interesting. On the DNA test that she got done, it turns out she was 59% German Shepherd. Couldn't believe it. And the 13% Labrador. And on the DNA test, it kind of shows it says parents German Shepherd Labrador mix, which is just insane. When we got her, we did think maybe some Labrador. Never would have thought German Shepherd. It kind of explains like her really long limbs, and yeah, she just looks like a completely different dog, but she's absolutely adorable. And it's really nice to know that Sandy is getting on really well at her new home. Next, we've got Maggie. Now Maggie was a bit of a soft spot for me. I absolutely loved her. She got on with Kobe and Moki so well. We actually had Sandy and another dog called Pickle at the time when we had Maggie, and she just fit in with the pack amazingly. If we didn't already have two big dogs, I was trying to convince Ella to adopt her. She wasn't having it. To be fair, having three big dogs would have been really hard to manage, but I've got such a soft spot for that dog, and she's getting on absolutely amazingly. So the home that she ended up going to, we made sure that she got rehomed with another dog because she just loved dogs so much. And you can see just like how well she's getting on with the dog. Her owners said she made herself at home early, and she also got on with their dog really quickly too. They said she's doing great, one of the most loving dogs we've ever had, always on the sofa having cuddles. And you can see here, she's just gone to the most perfect home, playing with the dog that's already at their home, and they've just become best friends. I really miss Maggie. Like I said, I had a big soft spot for her, but it's really nice to see how well she's getting on, and it looks like she's still just as playful as ever, just constantly playing with the other dog. And yeah, she also loves water. Not surprised, but just super playful. Yeah, really miss Maggie. What an amazing dog she was. So next we have got Luna. So I don't know if you remember Luna, but she was sort of like our first terrified dog that we rescued. We rescued her, I think, like over a year ago now. She went absolutely viral. I think her video got like 6 million views or something like that. Being the first sort of like scared dog that we rescued, you know, we were quite particular about the home that she went to. And of course, when you get these scared dogs, like, they can be hard to manage. It doesn't always go well because it's such a specific case. And you know, where we've done it quite a few times, we can kind of like start to know what to expect. But if you've never done it, like, it can be a lot. It can be very overwhelming. But I'm really happy to say that Luna is getting on absolutely amazing at her new home. This is her when she first went into the home. They said she's getting on really, really well there. She absolutely loves sunbathing. Luna also had a DNA test done, and I'm going to get onto that in a little bit. We also did a community post for when it was Luna's birthday. She looks absolutely adorable on her birthday, by the way. A bunch of you guys said happy birthday, and Luna's owners replied saying, "Oh my God, that's amazing and so emotional to see." She also sent this message: "1 year today since we brought home our beautiful Luna. Such a gentle natured little lady, and she has helped us so much. I think as we have her, a total goofball at times and a truly soppy girly. Love her so much." Like, she's getting on so well. We're really happy that Luna ended up going to a really like suitable family, and it seems like she's really come out of her shell as well. They also said, "Thank you for trusting us with her. She's a beautiful addition to our family, as if she's found her puppyhood." And then they said, "Hey guys, we've had the DNA results back, and Luna is a mix of 17 breeds. She's 25% Sarp Lenanic, which is apparently an ancient breed from North Macedonia and southern Serbia, and was known as the Yugoslavian Shepherd. She has Chihuahua, Beagle, Yorkshire Terrier, and Toy/Mini Poodle in her too, amongst the others. So a real mixture." But yeah, really glad to see that Luna's getting on amazingly at her new home. Because she was our first scared dog, like, we're really happy to see that she did end up going to somebody that was able to continue building her confidence, and it looks like she's really loving her new life. So now we have got Bonnie and Olive. They were our Cane Corso puppies that we rescued. We got them at 2 weeks old. Me and Ella had to bottle feed them, and you will not believe what they look like now. It is absolutely insane. We're going to start with Bonnie, which was the black Cane Corso puppy. She has been renamed now to Minnie. She ended up going to a family, and they have been amazing at keeping us up to date with Bonnie. I'm going to start by showing you the pictures of Bonnie sort of like as she's small, and then I'm going to keep showing you the pictures as she's getting bigger, because what she looks like now is absolutely insane. Whilst I'm showing you the pictures on screen, I'm going to read out some of the messages from the owners as well. They said she's doing really well. She's making doggy friends at the park. She's not great at recall. She just wants to play and be everyone's friend, but she will get there. They kept us up to date like throughout this entire time. I think they've had her for like nearly a year now, or maybe over a year, and they still keep in touch, which is really nice to be able to see obviously her getting bigger and how she's getting on. They also said, "Another great week. Recall is a work in progress, but sit down and as of yesterday over are all pretty good. She had another great week meeting dogs and walks, etc. She's starting to calm down, although she's realized she can get her nose on the worktop if she jumps up, so down has been used a lot this week, but she's getting it. She's also escaped upstairs a few times. We're trying to keep her downstairs only for her joints until she's bigger. She's really good with foods. The kids can have a snack in the lounge on the couch and she doesn't bother. She has been loving sardines and mackerel for her coat, as well as kibble and wet food. There is not much she doesn't like." She also said she really is growing up. Recall is still a massive work in progress, but she's really starting to show she is protective. She watches the kids out of the window from her chair when they're playing at the front, and the other day she was pacing up and down the back fence, sniffing the air, and I couldn't work out why. I thought the girls were at the park. They were next door, but she could hear them playing. So not surprisingly, Minnie, bless her, has started to become like the protected dog of the family, which is really nice to hear. And this one is crazy. So you can probably now see how big Minnie has gotten. Like, she is beautiful. Again, we were tempted to adopt her because she had the most loving personality as well. So this is a message from her owner. Another milestone, Minnie is 1. She's just had her checkups at the vets last week. They're super happy with her. She's 45 kg. I'll put on screen what that is in pounds for the Americans watching, but that is insane. They said still growing, but more slowly now. She had her first season with a slight complication, so no second season for her. Her owners also said, we have been so lucky to find such an experienced big breed walker slash sitter who adores Minnie, and Minnie absolutely adores her. Can't believe she's 1. She wouldn't be here without the love and care you guys gave her. So really huge thank you once again to you and Ella for looking after her until you let us have her. Which is, to be honest, firstly just like really nice to hear. Obviously we have a massive emotional connection with these dogs, but when we get updates like these, it's just like really nice to see. And sometimes we forget like the impact that we do have on these dogs, and when we rescue them, they do a lot of the time go out to live like an amazing forever life and have a loving family around them. And I think this is the perfect example of it, where things could have gone so wrong for these Cane Corso puppies only being 2 weeks old, or maybe even getting into the wrong hands because they can be seen as stasis dogs. So we were really careful about the home that they ended up going to, both of them, to make sure that they weren't going to be, you know, status dogs and end up in the wrong hands. And yeah, she's just a beautiful dog. I cannot believe how big she is now. She weighs even more than Moki. Moki's like 38 kilograms. So yeah, absolutely amazing. And now we're going to go on to Olive, which was the brown Cane Corso. She has been renamed to Juno. So she went to a home with another dog, and they said that she was getting on with the dog amazingly pretty much straight away, just absolutely terrorizing him. So you can see, like, as she was growing up, she's just such a beautiful dog. You could tell she was crazy. And this is what Olive looks like now. She has grown up to become the most beautiful dog. Like, she looks amazing. The owners have said, hi guys, I'm rummaging through my photos and videos and we'll send them along. She's doing great. She's really playful and funny. Her lead walking is really good. She's an absolute clown in the house with her brother Bodhi. So Bodhi is, you know, obviously the other dog that's there. And once again, just like really happy to see they went to an amazing family, I think it was, that again had, I think they used to foster quite a lot as well, so we knew that they'd be going to a really good home, and she's just grown up to be the most beautiful dog. I can't believe the pictures of when Olive and Bonnie were puppies compared to now. Like, it's just so insane to see, and really nice that we've been able to keep in touch with both the owners to see what they looked like when they grew up. So we are now going to go on to Kaya. So we rescued Kaya when we were doing a series on our channel where we attempted to rescue 30 dogs in 30 days, and we did a fundraiser. Now, we fostered 8 dogs, unbelievably, and Kaya was one of them. She was an older girl, but she was the most loving dog ever. Like, she was just super loving, super playful, amazing on walks as well. She ended up getting adopted by somebody that we knew. She was like a perfect home for her. She loved the older dogs. You know, when you get an older dog like Kaya, they are harder to rehome, but this woman that ended up adopting her just loved older dogs, so she ended up going with her. She got most of her teeth removed because a lot were infected and her breath smelled so bad. But luckily that was like a good procedure, because it can be a bit risky when they're getting a bit older being put to sleep. But that went really well. But unfortunately, due to, you know, like a really sad and personal circumstance, she did end up having to get rehomed. I'm not going to say the reason why, because, you know, it is really personal. It's not my place to say. But, you know, what I can say is, like, without a doubt, it was completely understandable why she had to go rehomed. Sometimes life just happens, and sadly, this is what happened in this case. But she did end up going to a foster. And they actually reached out to us on Instagram and said, hey, we've got Kaya, like we knew that you had her. We were like, oh my God. And then, you know, sent videos through, and this is a story about her in a reel. And it's really, really nice to see Kaya getting on really well. They said that she's so lovely and settling in really well with them. So although Kaya isn't in her forever home yet, the 2 homes that she's gone to, she's settled in really well, which doesn't surprise me. She's still loving her life. And so hopefully Kaya can find her forever home soon. She's just like such an amazing dog, and she doesn't know that she's old either. She still really acts like a young dog as well. By the way, if you live in the UK and are interested in adopting Kaya, she really deserves a loving home. I'm going to leave the Instagram of the foster here. It is the Hawthorne Hounds, or you can scan the QR code, just send them a DM and you can go through the application process. She really deserves to go to a loving home. She's such an amazing dog. So then we're going on to Bruno. Now, if you don't know who Bruno is, he is a dog that we rescued during our series again. But Bruno had an accident when he was in the shelter, and it meant that Bruno was like really slow. He'd move really slow. He was absolutely adorable and super loving, but he was like really hard to teach new stuff. I think being in the environment here with so many dogs was really overwhelming for him. He just needed like a calm environment. He didn't get on with Kobe and Moki. He was sort of like attacking them quite a bit. And unfortunately, we just weren't the right home for him. But we persevered and kept him until he did get adopted. Long story short, unfortunately, the people that adopted him gave him up after only 2 days. He was a really like specific and hard case. And, you know, obviously we went through all of our checks and everything. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. We did have a backup for him, and so he went to that home, ended up getting adopted again. But then they gave up after 2 or 3 days, but they had very personal family circumstances that happened. So Bruno was just like really getting passed around, had a really tough sort of like start to being here in the UK from Macedonia. He then ended up in a shelter, which shouldn't have happened, but unfortunately it did. And then, long story short, he ended up getting fostered by a woman who didn't have the best things to say about us, because she thought, for whatever reason, that we let Bruno down. Bruno ended up being like 4 or 5 hour journey from us. The shelter were threatening to put him down. The shelter that he was staying at were threatening to put him down. The shelter that he came from, obviously we were constantly speaking with them. We were like, listen, we're not going to let Bruno get put down. It was a whole long story. And yeah, the woman that ended up adopting him thinks that we failed him, didn't have some very nice things to say about us. But honestly, I don't care, because this is what she's managed to do with Bruno. And now Bruno's walking. Bearing in mind, we didn't even really get to walk him because he was so scared. We tried a few times and he kind of like freaked out quite a few times. But she has done absolutely amazing with him. She took him to the beach, she's socializing him, and she actually ended up adopting Bruno as well. And so, to be honest, like I said, you know, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. If she thought we failed him, she doesn't know the entire story, so, you know, that's completely fine. Most importantly, I'm just so happy to see that Bruno has ended up in like an amazing home. I think it's a single dog home, but the lady, from what I understand, originally was just fostering him to help out because he was like an emergency foster, completely fell in love with him, and now he's just living his life. Like, he looks like a completely different dog. It sounds like, you know, her home is perfect. It's a nice, calm and relaxed home. Just really happy to see that it ended up working out amazingly for Bruno. We've got no ego attached to these dogs, whether we're the ones that help them come out of their shell, or whether, you know, we're not the perfect home for them. As long as the dogs end up in a suitable forever home and they can live out the rest of their life, you know, being happy, that's what they deserve. And this is what happened with Bruno. So really happy to share that Bruno did get his happy ending in the end. I'm sure a lot of you guys will be happy to see this as well, because we constantly get messages about 2 dogs, Bruno, and then the other one, which we're going to move on to now, is Jockey. So Jockey was, once again, a dog from the series that we did, Rescuing 30 Dogs in 30 Days. And she was just amazing. She was also quite timid and scared, but she just showed little signs of coming out of her shell, and she was just such an amazing dog. So Jockey's got a really interesting story. She ended up getting adopted by a couple, really nice couple, like just really kind, really pure heart, like you could tell. They renamed her from Jockey to Luna. I'm gonna call her Jockey for now because it's just gonna get confusing because I'm terrible with names. But you know, she got renamed to Luna, but they were struggling a bit to help build Jockey's confidence. So we ended up paying for Dilnaz, our professional dog trainer, to go around and to help, because you know, we just wanna offer as much support as possible. And I think it's important to remember that these scared dogs, like, they're not easy. You know, the people that are taking them on are almost like not really taking a risk, but it is a massive commitment. And so, you know, we just want to try and support them as much as possible. So they ended up having Jockey for a few months, but unfortunately they decided that they weren't the right people for Jockey. Again, you know, these dogs are hard to continue trying to build confidence, and yeah, they just realized that they weren't the right people for Jockey. It happens. But Jockey ends up going to a foster. Her name is Ashley, and her partner have completely transformed this dog. Like, you wouldn't believe how she is now. So bearing in mind, we never walked Jockey, and I believe her owners never got to a point either. So she's been in the UK for about 4 months. She'd never been walked. Within about a week of being with Ashley, who, by the way, she's also fostered like a bunch of dogs, has had experience with scared dogs as well. So, you know, she's just as experienced as we are, if not, if anything, maybe more. And look at Jockey now. She's like having the absolute time of her life. Like, I cannot believe she's getting walked. They've been taking her absolutely everywhere. She's even like off the lead now as well, which is insane. She's playing with dogs. She's having zoomies. Like, she just looks like a completely different dog. When I started seeing this, like, I was so happy to see her. They did also have 2 dogs there as well. So I think there were 2 confident dogs that Jockey could also copy as well. They took her to like a farm, and she even met this thing. I don't even know what it is. I think it's a sheep. I'm terrible with animals, but like, look at Jockey, like, stiffen her. She looks like a completely different dog. They've been taking her out to like pubs and restaurants to socialize her. She's even going closer like to her partner. Like, she was a lot more scared of me because I was a male. Like, she just looks like a completely different dog. I just couldn't believe it. When I was seeing these videos, I couldn't believe it, but I was watching them with like the biggest grin on my face because it was so nice to see Jockey like this and just living her life. So Jockey came from what was called a hell shelter in Macedonia, where they were pocketing all the donations, and you know, she had to fight for like food and water and things like that. She is around like 6 years old, so she's lived like a really tough life. But to now see these videos and to just see her what looks like being a puppy again and just like living this amazing life, just so happy to see. And again, just like, I do not care that it was not us that ended up, you know, helping Jockey get to this point. Just the fact that she's gotten there, like, it just brings the biggest smile to my face. So Ashley is only fostering Jockey, and if you live in the UK and you are interested in adopting Jockey, then please reach out to Ashley, her foster, on Instagram. We're gonna put a QR code on screen as well, so you can just scan that to be taken straight to her Instagram. Just send her a DM, and then, you know, you'll go through like the whole adoption process. But I think it's safe to say Jockey is ready for her forever home, preferably if she went with some confident dogs, because she does get on really well with dogs. But you know, if you want to adopt Jockey, I mean, just look at her. She's the most beautiful, loving girl. Now that she's out and about and walking and everything, and she's been socializing her, like, she's just an amazing dog. So it's almost a happy ending for Jockey, where she's getting on really well and she's just turned into this most loving, playful dog, but she is still looking for her forever home. So please reach out to Ashley if you live in the UK and you want to give this amazing dog a forever home. And lastly, we have got one of our more recent dogs, which is Cindy. Now, Cindy we rescued not too long ago, and she was like super scared, super timid. But after being with us for, I think, about 6 to 8 weeks, she just did not a complete 180 but close to it, and just became such an amazing dog. Like when we first got her, she hadn't been on a walk for years. We ended up being able to walk her. Her confidence just grew and grew. She really started showing her personality. And then we found somebody who we thought was perfect for her. Cindy got adopted, but they did get off to a bit of a rough stance. Her new owner did have like quite a specific situation. I'm not going to dive into what the situation is, just, you know, for personal reasons, but, you know, it was very circumstantial, and we all sort of like figured that Cindy is going to fit into this home really well because she was such a calm dog. Now, once again, we did pay for Dilnaz to go over to Cindy's new home to just try and work with the owners, and Dilnaz is absolutely amazing. And she kind of like gave the new owner like tips and tricks on how to manage, you know, certain situations in the household and everything like that. And I'm glad to say that it has been, I think, about a couple months now, and things with Cindy are starting to look up. She's getting walked a lot. Her owner said like she's really starting to settle in quite well. I think she came out of her shell a lot quicker than she did when she was first with us. I think a lot of people do question, like, when we rescue these scared dogs, you know, when you rehome them, then they're just going to be scared again. And firstly, obviously, every dog is different. But a lot of the time when we rescue them, if we are able to build their confidence, when they do get rehomed, yes, of course, they're scared at the start, but they can come out of their shell a lot quicker. And so I'm really glad to say that Cindy has gone to like a really amazing, just calm, peaceful home. They've gone to like a really nice home with an amazing park and field near them as well. And yeah, she's also going to be living her best life. You can see her even like walking off the lead now as well. And so happy to say it looks like another happy ending for Cindy as well. And so that is where we are at with all the dogs. It's, to be honest, just really nice looking back and seeing the difference that we've managed to make. And I guess at the time when we're rescuing these dogs, we don't realize that, you know, we're really helping to transform their lives and hopefully going on to live in their forever home. I have got one favor to ask you guys. We do include a GoFundMe link in the description of all our videos. I just never mention it because I just find it really awkward. But if you guys are able to donate anything, even like £1 or $1 would be amazing, just to help us continue to foster and rescue more dogs so that more dogs can continue to go on and live in their forever homes and live a happy life. I'm going to include a link to the GoFundMe in the description and a QR code on screen. Right, I'm not going to mention it anymore now because I do find it really awkward asking for donations, but if you do donate there, thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you could hit that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.